Hello guys, my name is Michael, and today we are going to talk about new two signals, the last two signals which we can apply them to our GTK button, for example, widget. But before I say that, you need to understand that it is not the only two which are remaining, but those two signals which I am talking about, just let me go inside GTK button. So as you can see, here we have all these six signals provided from our application, for our widget. And we were talking about the first four in the last tutorial, and now we were going to talk about the last two. But these last two, it doesn't mean that they are the only six signals which you can use. There are a lot of other signals which you can apply to your let's say to your widget, in this case to our button. So let me run the program. For example, now I'm on the button here. I can use also the scroll signal. If I want to catch the scroll up and scroll down here, I can use it, even if the manual doesn't say something about it, because it says clearly which are those six. But I want you to know that you can use it. I'm not gonna talk about those now. I'm not even sure how and why you will need to use a scroll up and scroll down for a button, for example, but it works, and I will show you in probably in the last tutorial about signals, events that you can use signals on widgets which are not provided as default ones from GTK reference manual. Okay, so let's see. Now we have the last tutorial, last two signals, which one of them is preset signal. The same story here, like same the last tutorial. Before you proceed here with this, be sure, if not, is here mark it as deprecated, like this one, science version 2.8, and should not be used in the newly written code. So we need to go here. Once we are here, we know that it is an event. We already know that it has to be a Boolean function which does true or false, and we already know that we have three parameters which we are need them. So okay, I go back here. I will just make a copy of this one here, because I don't want to preset. I will call it preset. Okay, and then now let's see. Okay, we will need a signal, and the signal name is button press event, which we will need it, and also the callback name, which is preset callback function, and of course the window to can set the title. In this example, I will copy from the last no, I will not. I will just work with it. Now let's see. The first widget, it is GTK widget which applies to our button. We are not gonna use it now. I mean, we don't need it, so I will silence it. So I'll say void widget. Now we have two remain parameters here. The first one corresponds to our button press event, and the second one corresponds to our window. Let's start with the first one. And before we start to with our callback function, we need to understand what we need to do. This means we need to catch if there is a button pressed, and if there is, we need to see which kind of, or better said, which button was left click, right click, middle button was clicked, and so on. So we'll say if event type was a GDK button press. Yes, so says if the event type which was catched, it is a button which was pressed, then we are gonna use this time not a if statement but a switch. So switch, and we will say event, and this time we don't need a type but we need a button. So button, I will write it like this. You will see in a moment why, because it's wrong, but it's better like this for you to understand it. Now we will gonna work with the cases. So case 1, which is for our left click, and we will say g print now let's say left click button was pressed. Okay, we'll stay to the only one case in this. I'll say return true. Okay, then false here, and then here also return true. Let's see what happens if we run the program the way it is and says no previous. Yeah, okay, because we need it for our program, so we need to provide it. Okay, let's compile it again and see the next thing. And say switch quantity not an integer, default level not within a switch case. Okay, so first things first, this one is wrong, it should be here. Okay, and then let's change this to put it here. No, whatever, it's not important. The break here is not needed. Okay, let's compile it, and says switch count is not an integer, and is okay. There are too many errors, but having them you can understand them. We are not using user data, so I will switch count is not an integer. What that means? Well, let's see. Event button, why is not an integer? Let's see what the story with this event. We didn't talk about it too much, so let's see what kind of members has this event structure. Gdk event. Okay, Gdk event structures. We go inside and says the Gdk event structure is a Gdk event contains a union of all of the event types and allow access to data field in a number of ways. Okay, that's being said. We know that this Gdk event union has a lot of members, and these members are a lot of types, and all of them are not integers. So this means we need to access our Gdk event button. So this is definitely not an integer, it is a structure. So being a structure means we need to access this one. Okay, and by doing this we need to access its member button, which is this one. So this means it should be somehow like this, event pointer button, and then the button. It's a little bit complicated, but it is like it should be. And now when I go here, it says mouse enters mouse leaves like the last one. When I press the mouse, says the left click button was pressed, and then the program terminates. Okay, which means that works fine, and that's it. Let me shut down a little bit button signal, the clicker signal, so that we can use with it. Okay, it's there now. We can let it like this, or you have the opportunity to change the GTK event structure to a GTK event button, because we know that it's there. So you can just access the GTK event directly. This means you drop this part here, you run the program, because we know it's there and should be there and should works fine, and it is, you see. So the thing you design a program, and the thing and the way you are working with your own program, it's your call. It's your call. Anyway, I showed you that there are two kind of ways to access: by doing it directly through GDK event button, or by accessing doing GDK event. One thing I wanted to show you, I will go back here. This time will be GTK, not GDK event. Okay, that's a little bit messy here. Anyway, the good thing is that the website knows exactly what you need. You see, when I go to inside of these events, you see all the list of all possible events, or at least most of them. It's not all. I think I think they are all. Anyway, it's not now the case. I'm going to show you now something. So these are the events. Says in addition to signal mechanism described above, there is a set of events that reflects the X event mechanism. Callbacks may also be attached to these events. So these events are, so those things are, yes, now I understand. These are only events, not signals. So it's true. So you can check which events are, and also the very important thing, let me show you something. I will checking against GTK button parameter. How do I know this? Well, because the events are here, we know which events are, and also we can check the values. So like GTK nothing, GTK delete, and so on. And somewhere, I'm not sure. Wait a second. GTK event, because we need a structure. It will be different. It was somewhere, I'm not finding now. Where are you? Event handling, maybe here. Yes and no. It's not here. Event structure, I think this one is. Let me see. Okay, let me go back. Okay. Nope. Strange, because I was sure that it should be somewhere here. This is only the information about. It should be here somewhere. Wait. We have only the crossing gap, the notification, the virtual window. No, I cannot find it now. I'm not sure. Event any, maybe here. Let me see. Nope. Strange. Sorry guys, I'm out of ideas now. I will find it, and I will show it to you, because I really event any, maybe. No, it's not here. Okay, so being not here, I'm not sure where it is. Let me see it one more time. No, it's not. Anyway, I will click here and see what happens. There you go. Here I wanted to come. I don't know how and why it's so complicated with this, but you need to understand that GTK developers, they did a lot of works, and incredible one, and of course it's kind of mess up with the references. Anyway, this is the part which I was searching, those members. Yes, and yes, the GDK event type. Now watch. How do I know if I need to use this one? It's because once that you know the types and values, which are these GDK event types enumeration, you will see here a list of them. GDK delete, we are using to our event, says the window manager has request to the top level window by be hidden or destroyed. GDK destroy, this is the window has destroyed, this is destroy signal. The expose, motion notify, we will talk about this a little later. The button presses, a mouse button has been pressed, so this means against this you can check if a mouse button has been pressed, and so on. And also here see the enter notify, says the pointer has entered the window. The leave notify, the pointer has left the window. There is also a K press if you want to check against the K which was pressed, if so which one, and so on. So this is the thing which I wanted to show you. You find it on types and values. Just remember that you don't need to remember all these enumeration, just remember that you have to search and type and values from GTK Event Type. Okay, I can leave this and this and this. Okay, now once that the program works fine, we will copy this and we'll change the cases 2 and 3. 3 is for right button and 2 is for middle. Let's say button 2 was pressed. I run the program now, and when I will click, says left click was button was pressed, right. Okay, sorry guys, I need to change left click, right click, right click button. Now I run it again and says left click, right click, and middle button. As you can see, it works fine. So basically we can set a title here to be the same one, GTK window set title to GTK. Don't forget those casts because there are a lot of casts in GTK. Window, and then the title name. The title name will be left click was pressed. Okay, this is the first one. I will copy it because it takes too much time to type it again and again and again. Okay, I will copy this part here, I'll put it here. I will copy this part too, and I will send it here. And now when I run the program, you will see that the title will be set. Okay, but we need a user data, of course, not a window. Okay, so we drop the user data now. Silence. We'll run it. As you can see, when I click here, left click, right click, middle click, it works fine. So this is about the release, about the press button. I will copy it. I will send it back here, down here. And now we're gonna talk about the other signal, which is the release signal. It's the same story, it's duplicated, so we need the button release event, which means same thing. Here we need to make a signal, which is the release one. This is the event which we need to catch, and so on. And then we create a new callback function, call it release it. I'll make a copy here. Why do I have two here? I know. Anyway, this one we don't need it. Once we have it, we can create it. I will not create it because it's the same thing like this one. I will just copy it. We're gonna change only, we're gonna make only small changes, like instead of GTK button press, this time we need GTK button release. Yes. So the same, if event button is 1, then the left click press was release it. It's just about this part. Everything is the same. Release it, release it, release it, release it, and release it. I will put a tab here just to have it a little bit more different in our screen, and then we will see what happens. I will run the program now. And now when I go here, it says left click was pressed, left click was released, right click was pressed, right click was released, middle button was pressed, and so on was released. As you can see, it works fine. Here also at the top you see I'm leaving and go back and says left click was pressed, left click was released, and so on. So basically this is everything you need to know about signals which are provided as default signal to a widget of GTK button type, which is a GTK button, and this is how you need to work with events too. And for this, want that you understand the way how they work. I think that probably you can write a big important application for your program. Anyway, one thing to remember before we proceed with the next tutorial is that remember there are two types of signals. There are regular signals, which they are catched when something happens, and you do with that thing, with that signal something through with the help of your callback function. And there's the second kind of signal, which is an event signal, where you don't just catch a signal, you understand what kind of signal is, and you can act, or you can use your application to work with that signal based off what type of event happens. So this means like in our tutorial now, it was not about being a button press or not. You do not need to know only if a button was pressed, which is a signal for this, to identify if a button was pressed or not, but it is about if that button which was pressed from your mouse was the left button, was the right button, and so on. So everything I think should be more clear for you now. Remember that there are two types. The first one is void, which is for our signals, where we only need to know if the signals happens, and there is the second type of which takes two parameters. One is your object, which sends the signal, and the second one is user data, if you need to pass something to it, a parameter and so on. And the second type of signal, which is an event one, is that one when the signal happened to identify which kind of exactly which kind of signal was happened, and this has to be a Boolean callback function which takes this time 3 parameters and not 2, like in regular signal callbacks functions. And also you learned that you need to access the GTK event structure to see which kind of event type was catched. And of course, one thing which is also very important, this is that if you need to access a structure which is already inside the GDK event, you don't need to mess those things like accessing the GDK event structure, child, member, and then the member of the member. You just provide the structure member directly as your parameter, like here, GTK event button, and then you have access to your button directly and not through GDK event structure. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends and your other neighbors and so on. And if you like it, like I said, watch my tutorials and the next which they are coming, because we are not done with the events and signals. And until next time, see you guys.